Welcome! This is Group 1's presentation of Participatory Culture in Teen Services. Group members include Adrienne Apple, Allie Boyer, Courtney Cosgriff, Hannah Blatchford, Heather McCulley, Jessica Caniglia, Lori Broger-Mackey, and Melanie Dove. This is for Professor Velasquez's Info 261A class for the summer 2016 semester. To start, we would like to define the terms involved when talking about a participatory culture. This photo encompasses what we mean when we describe a participatory culture. Here, we see a joining of diverse students who are working, creating, and sharing in a welcoming environment. The quote that goes with this photo is from a member of this established participatory culture. This participant says, "Taking part in organizing an event has helped me to see what task it consists of, so I'm more confident that I will be able to accomplish similar tasks in the future." To define participatory culture, we refer to the definition that this is a culture with relatively low barriers to artistic expression and civic engagement, strong support for creating and sharing one's creations, and some type of informal mentorship whereby what is known by the most experienced is passed along to novices. A participatory culture is also one in which members believe that their contributions matter and feel some degree of social connection with one another. At the least, they care what other people think about what they have created. Within the participatory culture, there are four main tenets to remember: low barriers, strong support, informal mentorship, and meaningful contributions. The first tenet is having low barriers to artistic expression and civic engagement. Everyone should be encouraged to express themselves artistically in any manner they choose. Members should also be encouraged to identify issues within their community and consider how they can make a difference. Youth can also see politics as a spectator sport, and participatory culture can encourage young people to actually get involved and participate in this realm. The next tenet described is having strong support for creating and sharing one's creations with others. This culture is about making sure all members are comfortable not only with themselves but with each other as well. This also means they learn about ethics and respecting each other. Essentially, if they are creating their own content, they want others to respect their rights, and as such, they will in turn extend that same courtesy to others. Another tenet of participatory culture is having some type of informal mentorship, wherein each member passes on their own expertise to a fellow patron. This peer-to-peer teaching is a major component of participatory culture. Young people do not have to be experts at everything, but they each have valuable skills to share with one another and with the group. Each person brings their unique skills to the group, and everyone benefits and learns from each other. In this culture, member contributions matter, and members need to strongly believe that they matter. This goes along with the feeling of civic empowerment and the support they get from others. With this, they do not feel any pressure to contribute, but they know that everyone will support them should they choose to contribute. This leads to the last tenet, in which members feel some degree of social connection with one another and have a vested interest in what others think about their creations and their contributions. Even though they may be from different socio-economic backgrounds, everyone comes together around a single interest. Fostering participation could be considered a fifth tenet of participatory culture. However, it is such a large and important tenet, we felt that it deserves special recognition and explanation. As we previously mentioned, not every member of this culture has to participate, but they should all feel welcome when they are ready to contribute. As technology and social media creep into our everyday lives, adapting to a participatory culture is becoming more necessary than ever. As public libraries continue to evolve within their individual communities, it is important that they foster a sense of community within their space. As developing and sometimes insecure individuals, teenagers can sometimes be a difficult group to assimilate into participatory culture. However, technology is making it easier for them. It is the public library's role to assist in the fostering of this participation by creating spaces, programs, and social media outlets. The first step in fostering a participatory culture in libraries is creating an environment in which teens feel safe and comfortable. Creating a safe and inviting space must involve many aspects of the library and its outreach. The teens portion of the website, teen flyers posted around the library, and general interactions with teens must be friendly, inviting, and make them feel like an integral part of the library. Teens do not need or want to be forced to participate, but they do need to know that the library's door is always open for collaboration. In addition to creating a welcoming environment to foster participation, it is also important for teens to get involved with their library. Social media is a great way to get teens involved with each other. This includes not only reaching out to teens via social media, but letting them take control as well. For example, with staff supervision, teens could take over your local library's Instagram or Snapchat for a day. It could also be helpful, depending on the size of the library, for teens to have their own social media sites separate from the main libraries. This would give teens a great way to connect and share with each other independently. Programming is another huge way to generate participation within the library. It is important to keep programs creative, relevant, and exciting. If teens see programs that do not interest them, they will consider the library out of touch and not something they will want to connect with in the future. This requires the teen librarian to be on top of teen trends and be able to create programs quickly. Additionally, programs that are created by teens for teens makes a library seem like a fun, creative place to be. Groups such as teen advisory boards are great for teens as well because it allows their voices to be heard on what they want to see within the library. Lastly, another concrete way to foster participation in teens is to actually have a space dedicated to them within the library. A teen space gives teens a sense of comfort and ownership within a library. Allowing the teens to decorate or display their writing or artwork is another great way to make them feel represented within the larger library world. Moving on, we will discuss how technology can contribute to a participatory culture. As mentioned above, social media and other Web 2.0 features provide a great, convenient medium for interactions, such as sharing ideas and discussions, as well as a medium for creation and connections. For this section, we would like to focus on how makerspaces improve participatory culture within the library. It is important to remember that while technology changes, inquiry does not. Today's must-have devices may soon end up on the junk heap of gadgets from the past. Allowing teens to decide how best to spend their time will ensure libraries have return customers. Makerspaces can incorporate the best of technology, both analog and digital, with the creative passions of teens. However, as with any good library programming, there must be a plan for their use. The materials in these stations and the skills learned in these stations must fit with the mission and goals of the library and the teen service program. Legal issues, such as copyright and maintenance on any machines, must be remembered and addressed. In addition, teens need to take control and thrive in the planning and executing of the program's activities, thereby creating their own experiences in the library. However, the newest technologies won't last long without a dedicated staff. If there is no one to help guide teens while they create an experience, these expensive items may sit in a corner and gather dust. Teens have a natural curiosity in how things work and how to change them into something new. By facilitating their experience, teens can be inspired to create and play in incredible ways. If teens are planning their own programming, they should be able to tell the librarian the technologies they need or are interested in. If there is a request for a big-ticket item, such as a 3D printer, let the teens develop a proposal for the item to the senior library staff or community groups they hope will make the purchase, and create a plan for its use. Then the library will be guaranteed a patron group that will use the item. If requests are for smaller items, then the teen service librarian should act as the advocate for the group. A natural part of the human world involves concerns and challenges with every aspect of our lives. This is no different within a participatory culture and should be acknowledged so that a plan of action can help to overcome future obstacles. One challenge involves the participation aspect of a participatory culture. One of the tenets of participatory culture is that every member of the library community must believe that they are free to contribute, and that what they contribute will be appropriately valued. This can cause concerns with teens that use the library but do not feel like they fit in. Those teen patrons who are not interested in student government, after-school clubs, sports, and do not feel the need to try to fit in, need to feel included and valued in a participatory culture. In addition, adult attitudes toward teens are another challenge for participatory culture. Adults can have a superior or fearful attitude when dealing with teens. Even though they ask for teen input about ideas and programs, they do not really want to hear the answers. Teens are usually only asked to give their opinion on topics and programs that have already been decided on by adults. Teens rarely have the opportunity to fully participate and plan programming. Our research also points out three main concerns with participatory culture. The first concern is the participation gap. There is a digital divide in today's society. Some communities, such as Philadelphia and Boston, are creating programs to combat the digital divide where all their citizens have access to free wireless internet. However, just having access to technology is not enough. Teens that do not have as much access as their wealthier peers are not as comfortable using technology, participating in creating new ideas, or stepping into the roles of leadership. The second concern is a transparency problem. Computer games and social media show teens' willingness to accept any and all information. It is becoming difficult, and not just for teens, to accurately digest the information gained from technology. Information is so accessible that everything is taken at face value. Teens participate in the online environment without having all the skills necessary to sift through the information available to them, especially as they use online environments to creatively express themselves. The third concern involves ethics. In participatory culture, teens are encouraged to create new modes of expression, but internet safety is not a concern of theirs. Because the internet can provide an anonymous aspect to participation, teens need to be aware of bullying, sexual predators, cyber hackers, and other dangers technology can pose. They need to understand that certain aspects of their life should remain private, and that they should respect others' private information as well. Literacy is an ever-changing, ever-evolving term. It grows to encompass new and emerging forms of communication, knowledge, and expression. Next, we would like to discuss participatory culture as a new form of literacy. When the term literacy is used in conjunction with the library, it usually brings to mind thoughts of books, education, story time, early learning, and perhaps even adult classes, all textual forms of literacy. Almost no one would question the importance of these established programs or think twice about reaching out to the groups of people that are in need of this kind of help. However, what most people do not realize is that literacy services in the library should not stop there. As technology and society evolves, the definition of literacy should evolve as well, to include the set of abilities and skills where oral, visual, and digital literacy overlap. These include the ability to understand the power of images and sounds, to recognize and use that power, to manipulate and transform visual media, to distribute them pervasively, and to easily adapt to new forms. By turning to this new form of literacy in our culture, teens can learn the important skills they will need to thrive as students and as adults in the world. While there are many important skills to be learned in digital literacy, such as research techniques, technical prowess, and media capabilities, one of the most important factors regarding this form of participatory culture is the social and community-based aspects of it. Literacy becomes bigger than one individual and more about how a whole demographic of teens will define and make meaning out of their world. Libraries can be the welcoming gathering spot for the digital tools and training available, and they have the time and space for teens to learn and try new skills and make meaning as they collaborate together. The next section in this presentation will discuss the policies of a participatory culture within the library setting. It is important to look not only at what participatory culture means to teen services, but also to explore how it is being implemented and merged into regular programming and services. While teen librarians may be in charge of facilitating the programs, it is important for them to engage with teens themselves to create programs in order to truly be encompassing the nature of participatory culture. One example of these policies at work includes the Oakland Public Library. They have a program called the Youth Leadership Council, in which teens aged 13 through 18 are invited to join. The description promises that teens who are involved will gain communication and public speaking skills, self-confidence, leadership experience, understand the ins and outs of event planning, and make friends, all aspects of a participatory culture. Teens in this program even get a chance to meet with community leaders outside of the library and attend functions around the country. They are encouraging their community of teens to do more than participate in the culture of the library itself, but also allowing them to become immersed into their neighborhoods and beyond to become leaders. Oakland has a teen advisory group for each individual library so that teens can get involved with activity planning. They offer teens the opportunity to volunteer at all of their branches. In addition, libraries across the United Kingdom are partnering with various art programs to provide a unique variety of services and programs for their teen patrons. One library partnered with a poetry performance group. Together, they trained over the course of the summer so that the teens could gain experience in all areas of event producing, from budgeting to marketing to stage management, and everything in between. The teens then put on a show directed and organized by them, with teen spoken word, poetry, singing, and all manner of talent performances. In a similar partnership at another local library, the teens put together a Wear the Book Night, which was a fashion, poetry, and reenactment night with outfits from popular books. It is truly a wonderful time for teen programming as staff and teens discover what they are capable of together. Lastly, we wanted to discuss the efforts to gather measurements and data of a participatory culture within the teen library program. Keeping in mind how participatory culture shifts the focus of literacy from one of individual expression to community involvement, teen participation may be measured in a variety of ways. Keeping track of attendance numbers is one of the standard methods of measuring involvement of the teen library community. To reflect a participatory culture, one could count the number of teens involved in planning an event, such as a teen lock-in, teen open mic night, or a teen advisory board meeting, or any other program where teens come together to support and appreciate each other's ideas and talents. Another measure of success could involve counting the number of teens who come to an event and later become the planners themselves, or the number of community organizations that partner with the library's teens to create an event. Participatory activities should be user-driven and peer-directed. Strong attendance numbers can reflect a successful program. However, seeing teens come up with the ideas, run the programs, and receive credit for successful planning would provide evidence of a strong participatory culture. Teens and social media go hand in hand, with teens spending a significant part of their lives on their computers, devices, and/or phones. As mentioned before, with staff supervision, teens could take over the teen post on the library's blog or social media accounts. In this case, the traditional method of counting the numbers of likes, comments, shares, tweets, or retweets can determine if teen posts have led to increased traffic on the library's social media platforms. The greater the online presence of the library, the more teens' participation will increase. However, having an outcome mindset when it comes to library programming is not necessarily a wise idea. The strategy of planning based on outcomes-based data fails to take into account the divergence of outcomes and impact. Evidence-based data, such as conventional program evaluation forms, customer surveys, can prove the other side of the story and are still being widely used to examine patron participation. Teen event planners could also be surveyed to determine the participants' feelings of involvement and if their opinions were valued. Balancing outcomes and impact data seems to be more influential and provides the bigger picture when expressing desired participation output and metrics for library programs. Participatory culture invites teens to be a part of something larger, to engage in the process. Libraries can foster this culture by encouraging participation in its program planning. Having technology available helps teens that need access, but even more, teens need the chance to grow developmentally through leadership roles, helping plan events, learning to budget and advertise, and creating opportunities to work with community partners. Librarians need to have an open mind when it comes to working with teens. They need to listen and realize that their ideas have merit. Libraries must also institute policies that reflect their goal of creating a participatory culture. There are many ways of measuring how successful a library is at creating this culture. Maintaining the participatory culture is a process, one that needs constant evaluation and revision. Here is a list of the picture sources we used in this presentation. For a complete reference list, please refer to our paper. Thank you for listening.